Hi everybody and welcome to the Mental Toughness and Body Show. My name is Rob Evans and I'm your weight loss coach, health strategist and internationally published author, helping take your life and your business, your health, fitness, mindset and body from where you are right now to where it is that you want to be. And today I want to talk to you about a topic of when you are treated differently from everybody else. What does that mean to you? And the inspiration for today's discussion is coming courtesy of our Victorian state government here, as it looks like we're about to come out of lockdown after 2 weeks of lockdown. We will find out in a matter of the time of recording this. It's morning. We'll find out in a couple of hours probably on what that detail is going to look like, but they've leaked some information to the media, so we've got some indication of what it looks like. But I work in, where I spend most of my time is working in the fitness industry. Now, the fitness industry has been treated very differently to any other industry during COVID over the last 15 months. And it looks like once again that we're going to come out of lockdown at midnight tomorrow night, but the fitness industry is being treated differently to everybody else. And that means that we've got this tag of being very dirty, if you like, working in highly contagious environments where people are going to definitely get COVID or much higher risk of getting COVID. So even though everything else is going to open up, even though it's under some restrictions, the fitness industry is going to be remaining closed. That's what it sounds like at this point. What does that mean? Well, if we've learned nothing over the past 15 months, if you haven't done something to adapt and you work in the fitness industry, then there's something wrong with you, because I don't know how long it takes for you to realize that, man, I need to pivot my business, I need to do something different so that I can keep doing what I love and helping my clients, but I need to do it in a different way to what I've been doing in the past. Well, I look at it this way. It's a great opportunity that's coming our way again. Now, I have been in an unfortunate situation where for the past 2 weeks that we've been locked down, my daughter's been in hospital and I've had to be spending half a day in hospital, spending the other half a day basically serving my clients, trying to catch up with things and doing that kind of thing. And now she's just come out of hospital just, 2 days ago. And so now that she's at home, I'm being able to manage my time a little bit better, which means that I'm not spending half a day traveling in the hospital. So I've kind of got half a day. It doesn't exactly work out like that because I'm still taking care of her, but back. So I look at it this way. If we're going to be locked down for another couple of weeks or even longer, who knows what goes on in these situations, but any guess is as good as another. I think, wow, look at what I can now do over this next 2 weeks, because I haven't been able to do it this past 2 weeks, but now I've got this extra time. So look at what I'm about to get done. And I'm excited by that. Now, I know that it's also frustrating because I'm working with clients that are not being able to be served in a 100% way that I would normally serve them, just by virtue of the fact that they don't have access to equipment at home. They can't physically come in here and use my great facilities. So it does create some frustration and angst for people. And I worry about how it's going to affect people's declining health because they're not going to be following through with good practices at home. It can have a flow-on effect with their nutrition, etc., etc. But I think about, for me personally, I'm going to get a lot done. I'm going to be able to serve people greater over the longer term. So even though I may not be able to do things right now, I'm planning for, okay, what can I be doing in another means? How can I be supporting my clients in another way? How can I be starting to promote some of my other products, creating new products, etc., etc. So I'm working on marketing campaigns. I'm working on communication. They're some of the key things that I'm looking at right now. I just started yesterday. So I'm excited about the time that we're about to get, even if we are locked down. Now, we could be open up for another couple of weeks. More cases come by. This new Delta variant gets out and gets more infectious or whatever, and we get locked down again. So then they'll lock us down again, and we will still remain lockdown. So again, I talk about my 90-day COVID strategy. I always think that if we're going to go into lockdown, it's going to be at least 30 days. I said this at the start when we went into this lockdown. Chances are it looks like it will be at least 30 days for us in the industry. And I just get excited by, look at the opportunities, look at the things that I'm going to be able to achieve during this time. I think that is often what's missing from people's mindsets. Now, I guess I have also been conditioned over a number of decades, most of my life actually, because I've always been a little bit different. The way that I do things is a little bit different. I mean, I was bullied as a kid. I was always the smallest in the school. I learnt the bagpipes, for crying out loud. So I was always, it's an offensive loud instrument. You dress up in a kilt. You look different. Nobody else in school was doing what I was doing. So I'm used to being treated differently. What that has enabled me to do is, over many years, is to accept that I'm a little bit different, accept that I'm in different circumstances, different situations, and be okay with that. The fact that people bullied me when I was younger, the fact that people for many years, even now, tell me that the way that I live my life is freaky. Why? Because it's different to them. It's just different. But I have a great level of health. I love my life. I love the way that I live my life. And I feel great about the way that I do it. It's just that it's different from what most other people do. Now, because you're different, sometimes that means that people are going to see you as being wrong or just freakishly different, so they just don't like it. It's okay. It's just different from what they're doing. That's all right. But I look at it this way. When it comes to the health, 70% of our country, and I know it's the same in the US and growing every day, especially during this pandemic, 70% of the population is either overweight or obese. That doesn't mean 30% of the population is healthy. It just means that 30% don't fall into that category. Now, my goal is to get into the top 1% of health and stay there. And that's where I am at the moment. Well, actually, the last DEXA scan I had, I was 2%, because my body fat percentage had increased a little since my peak condition last year. So I'm in the top 2% of health. I want to get to the top 1%. I want to stay in the top 1% of health for my age group. I'm always looking for, what can I do to optimize my health, my body fat levels, my muscular strength, the way that I look as well, but also fueling the inside of me as well, making sure that I'm having my annual blood test and all that kind of stuff. Heaven forbid that I mention having the COVID vaccine, but obviously for me, I've associated with improving my health and preventing COVID impacting me and other diseases and stuff. This is why I do what I do. Why I have the vaccines that I have. I had a flu vaccine back in April, I think it was. Because it had become available, and because of the number of people that I'm working with face to face all the time, and their kids, and they get sick and whatever, it's just another way associated with my lifestyle so that I don't get sick. I don't have downtime. I can live life on my terms. I don't have periods of time through the year where I'm sick and not doing things because I'm just, healthy, strong immune system. So I know what it's like to be different. I've learned how to adapt and adopt the principles in my life so that I can function just knowing that I'm different. But once again, I'm always looking for those opportunities, always looking for how I can grow and be a better person through this time. And I don't think there's enough of that going on in the world right now. I look at some of the discussions amongst the fitness industry, and yeah, I get frustrated too. But I think there's not enough people looking for the opportunity and the growth and what can be learned from this, as opposed to just complaining for the sake of complaining, or just opening anyway, breaking the law and just opening anyway, and either it's a $10,000 fine, and just hoping that no one dobs them in, or that the police aren't going to come knock on their door. It's frustrating, but if that's what's necessary, then that's what I'm going to do. And I look on the other side and say, well, I've always conducted myself with a high level of morals and ethics and values, and if that's what we have to do, then that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to look on the other side and say, well, while I'm doing that, here's all the opportunity, twist the thinking to say, well, this is what I can do. This is happening for a reason. Let me find another way of dealing with this right now. So maybe there's something in there for you. Maybe you're not locked down, but maybe you need to change your thinking. Maybe you are a little bit different to other people. We all have our little idiosyncrasies and differences, but sometimes you can feel like you're so different that you just don't fit in. And I certainly feel like that, and I think COVID certainly does suit my lifestyle because of the way that I live, the way that I'm focused on things. I find that it does suit. I miss a whole bunch of things out of a COVID environment, but I can see how it also kind of fits within my lifestyle as well. I just make it work for me. And that's what I think a lot of people are not doing. Just not making it work. If I can do this, anyone can do it. It just requires a little bit of focus, and sometimes it requires a little bit of a change in your thinking. Because I haven't always thought this way. If this had have happened 20 or 30 years ago, I would have been playing the victim as well. But I'm sick and tired of that game. Life is too short. Who knows how much longer we have? I mean, I look at my family tree. You've probably heard me, if you're a long-term listener, you will have heard me talk about this before. I'm 53 in a couple of months' time. And my mum passed away at 66. My dad passed away at 77. What if I only had 13 years left to live? Can you think back 13 years ago and how fast the last 13 years have passed? I mean, I've been in business 13 years, and I think, wow, that 13 years has actually, in some ways, passed incredibly quickly. In other ways, it seems like, gosh, it seems like so long ago when I first made that decision to leave my chartered accounting career and do this. But time goes fast, and the older we get, the busier that we get, the faster time goes by. In 13 years, my youngest daughter will be 26 years old, my oldest will be 28. I think, wow, imagine where they'll be at that point in their life. You know, they won't be living here, most likely. They'll be out in the world. They'll have their careers that they're striving towards. Maybe they have partners. Maybe they have, they're married. Who knows? But life will be very, very different. But I'm not going to waste it. You've got to keep striving to get better. Keep on striving to do those things that really excite you about life. Those things that excite you about your business and becoming more successful, or your career. Keeping on growing. Time is running out for you. So we need to keep striving to do things smarter and better than we've done them before. Which is why I don't want to spend the last part of my life worrying about illness and getting sick and thinking about all the things that I can't do, and functionally only being able to do maybe 50% of what I used to do. That's not living. And the work starts now. It's like here in Australia, it's winter right now. And you may have heard that summer saying that goes like this: summer bodies are made in winter. And this is the same when it comes to your long-term health. Often what happens is that it gets to spring and summer, it warms up, and people say, oh yeah, I better start exercising now because I want to look good now. But wouldn't it be more sensible to say, well, it's cold and wet now. It's going to take me a long period of time to get to where it is that I want to get to be in my top shape. So I need to start now. I need to do it now. And that's the same with your old age. You don't want to get to your 60s and say, okay, it's now time to start taking care of myself. But for the last 30 years or 40 years, you've been abusing your body, neglecting it, not doing the things that if you had it done, you'd be in such a better position right now. I see it through the clients that I get where they come and they are in their 60s, or people that I know that haven't really given their health and wellness a top priority in younger life, and they get to their 60s, and that's when these diseases and illnesses start to come up, and they don't like it. It shows up in a way that we really don't like. But we're prepared to be lazy for 10, 20, 30, 40 years prior to that showing up. And so I just can't be bothered. You cannot afford to be lazy in this area. You have one life, one body. Don't hold out for medication coming along to save it, because that's going to cause some other side effect. Do it naturally. Look after yourself. We are designed to make sure we eat the right foods, we do the right amount of exercise, we stay strong, we lift weights, we do all of those things, and they help us remain the best versions of ourselves. Super important. So if you want to connect with me, you can go to the mentaltoughnessandbodyshow.com, opt in for a free consultation, and let's make 2021 your best year yet. You can do it. I've got your back. See you tomorrow.